What's up, my dudes? Yo, Anthony Mobs, that $200 donation. Damn, dog. I still haven't forgotten about that. That was insane. I really appreciate that, man. I just thought I'd come in here and shout you out again for it because that's just it's crazy when you get a donation that big. But just letting you guys know, if I get any donations, I'll read your message in a future video. So, yeah, it's a little perk to donating. I'll read off your message, answer whatever kind of question you got going on there. So, yeah, the electric bikes. This is an interesting thing here, and I know a lot of you guys probably you're always wondering, like, yo, Spencer, why can't I hear the bike audio in the game? Well, maybe it's because I'm on an electric bike, dog. Did you ever think about that? uh, just kidding. I actually have my audio just completely turned off here. This is obviously Reflex on 360. I'm not on a electric bike. Disclaimer warning. Let me talk really fast because those guys do try to avoid. Oh shit. God, I cracked myself up. You guys know how those little things, like at the end of the commercial, they're talking like this fast, so you can't even hear what they're saying, so you don't even hear all of the side effects of the drug because they're trying to say it so fast that you can't even understand what they're saying. Oh my god, dog, cracks me up. I'm gonna miss this big hug. Damn it. That's a little tricky one right there. So either way, yeah, basically the whole electric dirt bike thing started with the Alta. That started a few years back there. That was kind of the first little introduction to it, but the Alta wasn't really one of the big brands. You know, it was kind of a smaller brand, pretty expensive bike from the jump, and basically that triple is pretty difficult right there. Okay. That first triple in there. So yeah, that was kind of the first introduction to it, and basically now you guys have probably seen the images of the Honda e-bike, the full-blown Honda electric bike. I'm pretty sure most of you motocross fans out there have probably seen that by now. Look pretty insane, but it's just a matter of time, guys, before we've got Yamaha e-bikes, Kawasaki e-bikes, you know what I'm saying? Just a matter of time. That's just the natural progression of it all. And I wanted to come in here and talk about that and kind of talk about how it's all going to progress and change because it's pretty interesting, man, when you think about it. By the way, two strokes forever, baby. You guys know what it is. I'm a two-stroke lover till the end of time. That's my kind of, when I think of motocross or anything like that, I think of two strokes. Like that's really what I think of. And I feel like with the whole four-stroke era coming into play right around that, the Ricky Carmichael right there, like, 04, 05, 06, that's, they used to all be on two strokes, basically, right? Damn, I could have jumped that way bigger. What the hell was I doing? It was like, pretty much two-stroke dominant in the supercross and motocross racing, right? And then it sort of went to, whoa, damn, over jumping that triple and can't hit that quad. Then you guys know, basically, the four-strokes started coming around, and the four-strokes were always kind of known as being, a little bit slower, a little bit less power. That's how they were known back in the day. They just didn't have quite the power of the two strokes and stuff. And basically, all you had was two strokes in the pro supercross, pro motocross. And right around that 2004, 5, 6 era, everything changed. It was like, some of your top dudes started getting on four strokes. I think it was like Wyndham, a couple of them other dudes are on four strokes, but you still had like Carmichael on the two stroke. Obviously Stewart on the two-stroke. Then it got that year where it was Carmichael went to the two-stroke, right? Went to the four-stroke, my bad. And then you had a couple of the other guys going to the four-stroke, a couple of the big guys, and it was like James Stewart on that two-stroke still, right? And then it was like obvious. I remember that year specifically. It was all James Stewart could do to keep up. I think it was that 252 stroke, right? And Carmichael had went to the 450 and all that, but like just completely getting outpulled on the uphills and stuff from the four strokes. So everything shifted, right? And then once you got to 07, damn near everybody was on a four stroke at that point. Pretty much all your big teams, four stroke, right? So it went from 04, 05, everybody on two strokes. And then it was like 07 past that, everybody on four strokes. So it certainly can do that, right? Like in the electric bike, I know it seems so weird and impossible. I'm sure a lot of people back in those days, back in like the way early 2000s and in the 90s and stuff, they never thought it was going to be like four strokes only in the pro racing. I don't think anybody ever really was thinking that was going to be a thing. God dang those legs off, boy. Holy shit, racked my sack on that one, boy. So it's just like right now, in your head, you're probably thinking, dude, there's no way that there would ever just be electric only, electric only in the pro racing or whatever. I know we've seen it kind of in the straight rhythm, right? You've seen, basically Josh Hill, a couple of them guys trying to run the Alta in the Red Bull straight rhythm, stuff like that, but we haven't really seen anybody run like an electric bike in pro supercross, pro motocross, anything like that. We haven't really seen that yet. There's that little triple hook, boy. But, it seems so like, oh, that would never happen, we would never have it to where it's just those bikes and no more actual gas bikes at all. You'd think, oh, that would never happen, but just watch, my dude skis, just watch. Now that the Honda's getting it going, all the other big brands will get it going. I would give it maybe 5 to 10 more years, and it's going to go through that whole transition just like it did, where the four-strokes kind of wiggled their way in, and then they were the man, right? So that's the same thing that's going to happen. It's going to be like, I would say like 2024, 2025, 2025, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of those electric bikes in the pro racing. May not see like, Eli Tomac running one, but you'll see them in there, right? And then by the time you get like, 2028, there'll be some of the big teams will start really picking up the electric bikes, and it could be even a little sooner than how I'm talking it to be, right? Could be like 2025, and it's all electric bikes. So it's crazy, but it's coming, and it is the future. And I just want to say, like, you better enjoy those two strokes while you can, because, dang, dog, it's going to be just so different. Like, and it's weird because when you actually think about it, a four-stroke, you remember me saying before, I felt like a two-stroke is a dirt bike. You know what I mean? Like, two-stroke is motocross. Like, two strokes forever, baby, Like, that's what I think of when I think of dirt bikes. Two-stroke, bring, ding, ding, ding. Like, that's dirt bikes to me, right? And the whole four-stroke thing is kind of like, four strokes aren't quite as loud, right? They're more quiet. You don't have to shift as quick on a four-stroke like you do a two-stroke. Two-strokes, you got to be in the perfect gear. Got to be shifting constantly. Got to use your clutch. Four-strokes completely change that. You don't even really, you can be in just about any gear on a four-stroke and still pull the bike out with the power, and you don't have to use the clutch as much on a four-stroke. More quiet of a bike, right? Well, you think about an electric bike, it's like even more so, right? So it's like really four strokes are the in-between two strokes and electric bikes, because when you go to electric bikes, basically almost no sound at all, right? So you go from like two strokes, ding, 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 to a four-stroke, and then now you're in electric bikes going super quiet, right? So it's like working its way all the way through there. In electric bike, you don't shift at all, so there's going to be no more shifting. Just think about the kids, like our kids, right? I'm 22 right now, don't have any kids yet, but just think about our kids when it's all electric bikes, right? In the future, they're not even going to know what shifting is, or any of that, dude. This is not looking good. Like, I don't even like the sound of that, dog. Like, they're literally not even going to know what shifting a dirt bike is, and they're not even going to know what a dirt bike that has sound to it is. They're not even going to know what a clutch is. Like, they're not going to know any of that. It's just going to be throttle. Like, that's literally all there's going to be. Throttle and movement, So it is certainly changing in a crazy way that I never, I don't think any of us really expect that to be that way, but dude, it's going that way. I'm telling you right now. If you don't think it's going that way, you're a fool, because that's the way it's going. Now, I will say, I do think that there's always going to be, as long as we have gasoline in this world, there's always going to be, it's just like now, you have electric cars and you still have a lot of people running gas cars. And I still feel like there's going to be a lot more years people running gas cars, right? So you're going to have that for a lot longer, but see if I can hit some of these freaking big lines. I was having some issues hitting them there. Kind of hard to hit huge reflex hooks when you're trying to commentate at the same time doing it live. You got to focus on reflex, boy, when you get some of those big, or it's like a quad out of a corner and then another quad where you got a whip glitch to the second jump, pretty difficult to do that. But this is going to be one of those moments where it's like, the kids today won't remember, the fucking memes. Like, it'll be real though, dog. Like, the kids today won't even remember clutches, won't even remember shifting, won't even remember a dirt bike that has sound. But the thing about that is, I do still think there will be, obviously, 4-strokes and 2-strokes. People will still be riding them, right? Like 10 years down the line, I still think we'll have them. Like I said, as long as you have gas, you'll have them. So, and I think it'd be cool if all the companies still made 4-strokes and 2-strokes. Obviously, a lot of the companies completely went away from making the 2-strokes, obviously. There we go, baby. That's that line I was trying to hit. Yeah, boy. I think you can actually jump that all the way, too, right there. But, yeah, so even if it's like all the pros running electric, right, 10 years from now, it could be even a little longer. It could be a little shorter than I'm thinking. It could be a little longer. It could be like 15, 20 years from now before we see complete electric. Holy huck. Dude, you can huck this bike sometimes so far when you get the right amount of momentum and traction out of corners and stuff, dude. But yeah, so basically, that's what I'm getting at is now I'm feeling it, dog. Holy shit. When you get to feeling it on reflex, there just ain't no other feeling like it, dude. You know what I'm saying? God dang. Freaking awesome when you get like that on reflex, dude. You're scrubbing shit, like flying through the corners. Oh, having wicked saves like that. So I still think you're going to have, like, obviously 4-strokes, 2-strokes. Obviously, Yamaha, Husqvarna, KTM, the only big company still making the big bike 2-strokes, which is silly. I don't see why Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Honda doesn't still make the big bike 2-strokes. Come on now. There is still a big market for 2-strokes, guys. Why would you not still make 2-strokes? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. What they've done is all they've done is helped Yamaha, KTM, and Husqvarna, because now it's like, instead of going out there and picking between all of the bike brands on what kind of 2-stroke you want, if you want a 2-stroke, and believe my happy ass, 2-strokes are still a big thing, still a big deal, still way fun to ride. Like, still to this day, the funnest bike there ever has been is a 125 2-stroke. Like, why do you think my number's 125, dog? Like that's still the most fun bike there ever was and ever will be. Like, there is still such a market for the big bike 2-strokes, 125s and 250 2-strokes. Like, that's still so fun to go out there and do that. And I don't understand why some of those big companies don't really understand that. But what it is now is, like, if you're in the market for wanting to go get a new 2-stroke, it's like either you're going to get a Yamaha or you're going to get a KTM or a Husqvarna, right? And KTM and Husqvarna, they're damn near the same team anyways. So, but instead of going in there and like, am I going to get a Kawasaki 2-stroke? Am I going to get a Suzuki 2-stroke? Am I going to get a Honda 2-stroke? What am I going to get? It's pretty much like either you're going to be a Yamaha boy or you're going to go over there to the, the Austria, whatever the hell, KTM, more that kind of side of a 2-stroke, which is going to be completely different from your Japanese brand stuff. But there's really only one Japanese brand, still making 2-strokes with Yamaha. So, yeah, unless you want to, like, completely try to restore an old bike, that's what, some people will do that, try to get an older bike and restore some old, Kawasaki 125 2-stroke or CR 125 or whatever, but you're not just going to go out there and buy a brand spanking new one, you know what I'm saying, with obviously the new updated suspension and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to be able to really get that as good. So, but yeah. So basically that's what I'm getting at. Like, those companies are so stupid because all they're doing is making Yamaha 2-strokes bigger, and all they're doing is making KTM 2-strokes bigger and Husqvarna 2-strokes bigger. Now it really is like Yamaha is, and that's one of the big reasons I've stuck with Yamaha so hard, because that was one of the first bikes I ever got, but also they're still making the 2-strokes, man. Still, all through all this time, all these years later, 2-strokes haven't really been super relevant in the pro racing for 10 plus years now, and they're still making them. So you got to give your hats off to Yamaha for that. I don't even care if you're a Yamaha hater. You can't hate on that. like you just can't. Still making 2-strokes, dog, please. That makes me want to go buy a damn brand new YZ 125 so bad it's not even funny. But either way, so basically that's what I'm getting at with the electric bikes is they'll probably still make them. Like, you'll probably still have some brands that will make the 4-strokes and 2-strokes. You may have some brands that go 100% electric. That's certainly possible. That would be really weird. But yeah, I guess you're going to have all different bike sizes of electric bikes, right? So you'll have like little 80 electric, little one that goes up size But then it's just going to be like size of the bike, right? It's not really going to be like CC size anymore. But yeah, but you guys know, even just the electric bikes in general, the reason why they're not super popping in the pro racing right now is because they haven't really been developed enough to the point to where they've got the same kind of power, same kind of torque, same kind of all that kind of stuff going on. You know, that's the big kicker. That's the big setback right now. And simply, you know, not really being able to hold the charge for quite long enough, right? So they've got a couple of issues they'll have to get kind of worked out and figure out how to get the electric bike where it can produce the power that obviously the gasoline engines can. You know, oh yeah, and that's even another thing that makes like the 4-strokes in between 2-strokes and electric bikes is with the 2-strokes, you had to mix the oil and the gas, right? And then 4-strokes, it was like just gas. And then now with the electric bikes, no gas. So it's like you just go further and further away from what motocross is, you know, further and further away from what makes dirt bike racing what it is. And 4-strokes is certainly way different than the 2-stroke era. I mean, completely different. Torque, all that of the bikes, you guys know how it is. And like being able to be in any gear, not having to use the clutch really, all that kind of stuff. And hell, a lot of them guys probably have recluse clutches now where it's pretty much automatic shit going on, you know what I'm saying? So, but once it goes full electric, it's going to be a whole nother animal, boys. Like, it's going to be weird. It's going to be, could you imagine sitting in a supercross race where all electric bikes, just like, you won't be able to hear shit. You'll hear some little kid screaming, you know, up in the stands more than you will the bikes. Like, good Lord. That's going to be crazy. But yeah, I mean, once they can figure out how to get the power out of it and all that, I mean, that's going to be the way, let me tell you, dog, because they're going to be able to create really smooth power, like coming out of, could you imagine if they had those bikes really powerful coming out of a corner where there's no shifting, you know, no gearbox, it's just smooth on the power hitting the gas, no shifting, no nothing. It's going to make it to where you can ride it a lot in a lot of different applications. I feel like, whereas like there's certain corners you need to be able to shift out of a corner, and then you got to worry about not, you know, shifting into neutral and all this kind of crap. But with an electric bike, it's just throttle out of the corner, right? So you've got that whole kind of aspect on it there, and that's going to change the whole nature of like coming out of corners, how big of jumps you can hit out of corners and all that. It's going to totally change that whole side of it. So that'll be interesting to see that. But either way, boys, yeah, the kids will never know even what a 4-stroke is. I can't even believe I'm saying that. But this had to be how they were thinking back in the days when the 4-strokes started coming around. They were thinking in their head like, kids will never know what a 2-stroke is, right? Which I still knew what a 2-stroke was, even though I got into dirt bike racing when I was like 14, which would have been in like 2010, somewhere around there. And, you know, basically the first real race bike I had was a 125 2-stroke. It was an 04 YZ 125, right? So, you know, like all the way in 2010, you know, the first real race bike I had was a 2-stroke. So I got to know all about the 2-strokes and the rip you out of your underwear power and the power band and the just, oh dude, like there's nothing else like it. You know, and then you go to the 4-strokes because you're trying to get the torque, you're trying to get all this stuff you're trying to do when you're racing everybody else on a 4-strokes, and you get a 4-stroke. And then eventually it's going to be the point where it's going to feel like, okay, I need to get that electric bike, you know. It's going to feel like that, but you're still going to have I feel like you're still going to have the you know, the main bikes. I don't know if it's ever going to get to the point where they're just like, okay, the electric bikes are huge. Now let's totally get rid of the 2-strokes altogether, and just certain companies are still making the 4-strokes. You know what I'm getting at here? Like, that would suck if that was the case. But as long as you have gasoline, you know, in the world, fossil fuels and shit, like, as long as you have that, you're going to have people making 2-strokes and 4-strokes, and you still make your own 2-strokes, 4-strokes, you know, still take old bikes, restore them. There's going to be plenty of places to do that, even if it's all electric. You're still going to be able to do that. Now, the issue will arise if somehow all the vehicles are electric and somehow they've managed to make it to where they don't even sell gas anymore. Maybe there still is gas on the planet, but they don't sell it, right? Can't just like run up to the gas station anymore. If that's the case, then it's going to be a lot harder to ride Oh God, dude, I don't even want to think about that. That's terrible. That's god awful, But that is the future, man. You can't really deny it. That's certainly the future. So either way, yeah, the e-bikes they're certainly there. Obviously the Alta dude ran it in the Red Bull straight rhythm. Like we're not that far off from the electric bikes being in the pro racing, dog. It ain't that far off. Some people think it's like, oh, I'm never gonna have that. Would never happen. No, bro, we're 5 to 10 years out from Monster Energy electric Kawasaki. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not that far off from that. I'm telling you right now. Like it's on the way for sure. So just enjoy the moments where you can still go out there on a track on a two-stroke and just rip it up all day long. All you're hearing, rah, rah, rah. Oh, dog, like, oh, God. That is so polar opposite from electric. Like, that's part of what makes motocross so fun is hearing the two-stroke and the shifting and the clutching and god dang, like that's part of what makes it so fun. But when you get to the top level, it's all about four strokes because you got to have the torque, right? And then it's about the finishes, right? So either way, yeah, that's unfortunate that it's like that, but either way it is. I mean, I still think to this day they should allow the 252 strokes in the 254 stroke class, and if some of those big companies start really trying to make some solid 252 strokes, I think they could make them competitive, but it'd be pretty difficult. But yeah, the electric bikes, I think you're going to see them in motocross before you see them in supercross, obviously, because I think they got a better chance at the motocross side of it than they do the supercross side, because supercross you got to have so much bottom end, so much torquey power to triple in out of corners and all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be certainly something that comes in motocross, slowly works its way in motocross first, and then you start seeing it in supercross and stuff like that. But yeah, dudes, I'm just saying, enjoy your time on them two strokes, and hell, it's to the point where I gotta say, enjoy your time on the four strokes, because there's gonna be a time where it's not even four strokes anymore. It's all electric, So just enjoy the time you got on these bikes, man, because it's all gonna change in the future. But man, two strokes forever, baby. You know what it is. 125, that's my number, forever and always. And there's a reason for that. It ain't just because it looks cool. You know what I'm saying? So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.